I just saw this like a little ad thing, so I'm just gonna start with it because it was something I was just talking about. I don't know recently, about not being confined to like where they tell you like, oh, this is what a man of your age should wear. This is what a man if you're this way you should wear. You know, the businessman should wear this. The sports guy should wear this. The junior age girl should wear this. The miss, the professional woman, like they designate all of these places for us to buy our stuff. And I don't know if it's just because, I mean, I don't seem like a big person now, but back when I was in high school, I was way bigger than the other girls. And so, I think sometimes I went and bought stuff out of men's stuff out of necessity because I'd go buy the girls' clothes, and sometimes they would be like so short, like the arms, like it's kind of like this shirt's supposed to be like that, but oh my gosh, I swear to God, I felt like that for so long when I would go around in like high school, especially because it was 1 year that I grew. I went from 5'2" to 5'9" over one summer. And so everything was just too short. I had really long arms and legs, and oh my gosh, and super skinny. And I just did not have like the typical body like as the other girls. And so I used to buy Levi's all the time. That was my favorite jeans. And I always went in the men's section to get that. I would go get men's shoes. But anyway, so I don't know, like 25 years ago or something, is when the boxer briefs came out for men. And I got some from my husband and he loved them. And I was like, man, I want to try those on. And so I tried them on and I was like, oh my gosh, I love these. And these are comfortable. Like, why do they make girls' underwear so uncomfortable? And so I wore those all the time. And people would think that was so, so weird. Like, people would think that was so weird. Like, some of this stuff, it doesn't seem like it would be that weird, but people would think it was really weird. And then even all the way back when I could remember like wearing men's shoes, and then somebody would be like, "Oh, I like your shoes. Where'd you get your shoes?" And then you say men's department, and it would always just be like, weird. And so, but on the underwear thing, whoever knew, I just always thought, that was strange, and why wouldn't you like girls' cute little panties and stuff? And I was like, man, they're so comfortable. And I don't understand girls' underwear is like meant to be uncomfortable but look good or something. And I was like, I'm going to go with comfort. And so, anyways, the ad I just saw was now some business, and they are making the men's boxer briefs. So when they did the girl ones, they made them little tiny like booty shorts. But now they're making like regular boxer briefs that men get, only in cute designs and stuff. And so, it just takes time, I swear. Sometimes you just got to do stuff, even when people think you're just weird. And you just got to do it because it just takes time for people to catch up. I don't know what it is, why it is like they fight against. It's like there's a certain, I can see it so much. Like, it's so hard for me not to see it, but it is so hard to explain. It is like, it's like this eagerness in people to try and understand themselves, but the only way they can understand themselves is from the exterior world. What is it giving back to them? And it is, but it is all about people trying to understand themselves. It was weird even this morning because I got up in the middle of the night for a while, and then I went back to sleep for a bit, and when I did, I curled up. I'm still sleeping on a couch. I have no idea. I could go sleep in my room, and I don't know. I have no idea. Stella can't fit good in the room. Her bed definitely can't fit in the bedroom. And I don't know if it is just because I'm so used to sleeping next to her, and she's used to sleeping next to me now, that she doesn't do that anymore. But I'm already seeing improvement. I swear. She ran down the driveway yesterday, and I think she's kind of sore now. But that's what happens every time when she starts feeling good. She pushes herself. But she just had this is because the day one, she got the evening dose of the borax. And then two yesterday, and then one today. Maybe she's had another one, but I'm putting it in her food, or I'm seeing where people say put it in the water. But the guy who did it, like if you look it up, I'm seeing so much more about the guy who was using it. He was using it was I think it was in another country, and he was using it. Or he was from it was something, but when he had approached to get it okayed by the FDA, then they said no, because it couldn't be patented, and so that they deemed it as poison, and then charged him. So all these people he was helping, then he gets in trouble. So anyways, you can look up about this story. I'm seeing so many people sharing the history of the boron, and how much it helps, and how much it helps people with arthritis and stuff. Like all the stuff they hide, like dandelions, if you got stuff with your heart or blood pressure, like all these things that are out there. And that is what our cabinets should be filled with. It's just roots and plants. And I think like beans and, rice and stuff, or sugar and flour. But, just like stuff like that. Because once you're eating like a really healthy amount of minerals and enzymes and vitamins. But see, the vitamins that they sell, so you think like, oh, well, I take vitamin D, I take vitamin C, blah, blah, blah. So what those are is that they're like synthetic, and they're not really the derivative, the plant. And so it is just like, you're not getting the benefits. So you're taking it, but you're not getting the benefits of it. So you have to get like the pure form. And like what I was talking about yesterday, I think it was yesterday, about the tinctures and the oils and or you can do it as a tea. There's different ways that you can get them. And I was talking to, or somebody did me a video yesterday because I had asked them a question, and they said that different roots will work better if you do, like certain ones work better if you do them as a tincture, or certain ones work better if you do them as an oil, and so it's good to know which is your, if you're going to use like dandelions, and you wanted to do one of those. And I don't think I think you can do anything with the dandelions. You can do tinctures, you can do oils, teas. I'm going to get some more dandelion, just all these different roots and stuff. And I'm doing my own little blends with the tea now. At first I was like, oh, it's kind of harsh, but now it's kind of like, it does taste a lot more earthy. And then to just know like you're getting all this real vitamins and stuff, the best that you can. I mean, this stuff is organic and stuff, but and you can go and try and buy them like from different farms and stuff, but everything is so interfered with. So you just got to do your best to get the best that you can afford and that you can find. And, but you still are going to get more benefit from that. Even a citric acid is artificial, and they put all this like citric acid, like you think you're getting vitamin C or something, and it's not. It's some sort of compound that will make you sick, and they put it in all sorts of stuff, and they always do it with everything with the wording. I learned about that like, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago. I was watching some documentary. I swear to God, I think it was one on dog food. And but they always bring me stuff in like a flood of information, I swear. But they brought because I had seen a couple of documentaries, and it was just talking about how the foods and the ingredients, and how it's so manipulated, especially on the dog foods and stuff like that, where people think they were feeding their dogs, like a condensed version of meat and vegetables, mixed with some vitamins and stuff, and it's not all. and it's right in their language, but people just don't understand. Their language is so manipulative. So anyways, but if you get more of the roots and the dried flowers and stuff, and then you make teas or tinctures, or the oils. So I made the oregano oil, and I use it for a lot of stuff. But now there's been so many things, it's just like I've changed my life over. I was thinking about this. Oh yeah, I didn't even finish the one story about when I laid back down, because there was a whole thing about that. But now I'm on this other thing. But the now I've kind of detoxed myself so much off of when I was thinking about it, how much I've changed the way I eat, my lifestyle, and all of that since I woke up. Like, it was way different before. It was so many different things, but definitely detoxing for so long, getting off of the pharmaceuticals, and having to change my attitude towards plant stuff. It was ingrained into me. That's drugs. That's bad. That's bad. And and being somebody who had done so much drugs and so much what is that, like, where you're so self-destructive when you're when you're lost, and being a teenager and being so self-destructive, and going through all of that, and then having people who supposedly love you throw it up in your face later on, and so that's what creates a lot of shame and stuff. You start feeling like you're shameful, there's something wrong with you, and that's where we got to stop that. The person who's telling you to be ashamed about something has plenty of their own stuff to be ashamed about. There's no reason that we should be treating each other like that, but we've just developed so much with toxic relationships. I can't even believe how much that stands out to me, and how much people just kind of accept toxic relationships are just how it is. It's just the relationships that we have or something. But it's not, because you can choose to have better relationships, and it is taking responsibility for yourself, taking responsibility for how you see things and how you feel about it. It's not their fault that you feel the way you feel. In toxic relationships, it's always trying to control the other person so that you don't have to feel bad. And so, and I was because I was always looking for a protector. So I was with, I was with men who were older than me, who were very domineering. I was being, I was like, I was disappearing. And it's no wonder, my kids don't know me. I was barely there. When I think back to my mom, it was the same thing. She was like a ghost in the house, and it took me a long time to really understand her on another level, because I spent so much time judging her because she wasn't there for me. And anytime that she was, it was just to tell me how horrible I was. And, she slapped me in the face a lot of times and stuff like that. And that's really degrading. And, she doesn't remember that. And I wouldn't sit there. Where these people, it's such a fucking movement on attack your mom and stuff like that. And I don't feel like that at all. I feel like, she has a struggle with learning to love herself, So, and I know that's part of why she has so many animals around her and stuff, is because she's trying to show love to them, because she's trying to feel love back to her, but she doesn't know how to show love to herself. Oh yeah, what was that? Because that was really interesting. Like, some of the things I was being shown, like, wow, I was awake. One of the things, like, I was laying there, and I had to pop up. I was like, what? I was like, that was a crazy light bulb. Like, it's so crazy when you just go in, like, to communication with them, because they'll just tell you stuff, and it's just like so amazing, some of the things. And when I pulled myself, I was like all curled up into fetal position, like I was all curled up into a little ball. and on the couch, and I was thinking, it's so weird because I love this position, and it isn't like I feel like I got to pull myself into fetal position to comfort myself, although it is a very comforting position. When you pull yourself in, it's like hugging and holding onto yourself. And but it is so much stretches, like it stretches my back so much when I pull like that and pull down. And I that's why I love it, because it feels really good. And but it also feels really comforting. But I was doing that, so I was thinking about, the whole thing and why people do it, and just thinking about it. And I was thinking about, like, when you're in the womb and you're in that position and you are alone, you're by yourself. And there's always this thing to me, is how we are there and we're trying to figure out who and what we are. And so you're in the womb, and that is that open space of who or what am I. And it's right before the birth process, where you come out to express yourself so that you can understand yourself. And so you're in that position of being alone. And I mean, I know the soul isn't just stuck in there, it doesn't just go in and stays there. No, it's always going in and out. It goes in and out even when the baby is small. And just, it is it's more like we trap ourselves in here. Like, you got to go to work, you got to focus and stuff. Like, you could still be going in and out all day long. It's just that that's why they draw your attention onto their reality, to keep you from less what you can do. But anyways, so when you're there, it's not like you're trapped. But still, when you go into the body, you don't have that all knowing. Even though there's a lot of people coming out now saying, like, they remember being in their womb, they remember the whole birth, they remember all sorts of stuff. And but in that time where you're sitting there trying to understand who or what you are, and then you're birthed into it, and so right away you have people over you. They're giving you information back by looking at you with their eyes. And the people who are your closest soul connection, because you come in with a certain group of people. Although there's trillions of people, or however many people, they are all coming in groups to go through their experiences. And so, and that's why, it seems like some people are just NPCs in your life, because they have nothing to do with your life. They're in their experience. And so it's just like shadow figures in other experiences, because they're in their own experience. But this time on this planet is when it's like all experiencers have to look to the stage and begin to understand that they're not just sitting there in a dream. It's like you're busily in a dream, and all of a sudden they pull all of your attention to everybody who's dreaming and says, wait, we're not in a dream, this is and start telling you, and you have to be starting to understand and wrap your head around and processing what they're telling you. And so, that's the awakening, is when you start to awaken to, I'm not just here doing this little, just living this existence as Kelly, and drama, and, trauma, and what I've gone through, and my labels, and who am I, and all that development. And I just, one thing I just keep seeing in shows and movies and stuff is how much people are constantly looking outside of themselves for trying to figure out who they are, and how it starts even in the process of the beginning of, it's like your first, your last question before you're coming in all these faces, who and what am I? And then you're out there, and then you have all these faces looking and giving you feedback, and then your experience starts. And the problem with so many experiences we've had in the past is that it has been one trauma person after another. Nobody has stopped to heal. They've just developed patterns. And so there's all of these toxic relationships that have just developed in the like familial lineage of different ancestry. And so that is why so many people are highly aware of their healing and how much they're stopping these patterns that have been developed so much, because it has been such a thing for so long as to not do that. You just stay in the program, you just keep doing your automatic stuff. And so, you go and it's time to get married, it's time to have dinner, it's time to have a baby, it's time to go to work. Everything was just set kind of. And that is why when you're in the lower Kundalini, that is where you're on autopilot. That is where you're trapped in your trauma. And that is why when you start releasing and doing that work and it starts moving up, it releases trauma. It makes trauma have to come up. You have to deal with it. In this magnificent place that we're at, that is also working in a sanction and is working with you, is that it is representing, it's showing you as you're going through. It's helping you. Like I said before, the more you pay attention, it is crazy. Like the signs aren't just like, oh, there's a sign, and then 6 months later, oh, another sign. No, it is nonstop, all day long, communication signs. It's like you seriously have a team that is with you in the game, but you just can't see them. So you have to trust yourself. And that is what the big thing is, where they try and, sorry, Stella's right here. They try and make it so where you won't trust yourself. They want to make it where you doubt yourself. And that is why they use such a thing, such a big way of pushing us around with the bullies and stuff, because it works so well, because it's your peers. If your peers are telling you you're not right, then the natural instinct is, oh, I got to fit in, I got to be like everybody else. And but it's gone too far. I mean, this is a cosmic thing, this is supposed to happen and stuff, but that is like how it's kind of occurring, is is all of the recognition. Is that is a big thing that so many people wake up to, is stop people pleasing, start really trying to figure out who you are, heal your trauma, try and develop yourself. Like all of the things, it is all about self. But when you do all those things and you develop yourself, like you think about that baby being born and the eyes looking down, and then as the baby gets a little bit older, not being triggered by every little thing that the baby does. Like I just saw a video. It was one of the things I keep seeing, the one lady who I said she kind of is like, I don't know why she kind of just reminds me of me, but she's always talking about these women who are exploiting their kids on social media. And so she was trying to really explain, is like, if you are using your kids, so you're creating this platform, and then you're using your kids like the Abbott and Costello or something, like they're doing like they've got a little thing going in, and then so many too will like use it to show, like if they think they're a super parent, or funny little things their kid does, or embarrassing things their kid does and stuff. So they build their whole platform on exploiting their kid. And she's trying to say, like, as your kid gets older, you've put all this stuff out there on this, you've made them a public figure, and that is for your own entertainment, for your own status. That's what I said, these social climbers, it does something inside of people. It's like they all of a sudden, just to get up to the top, is like, what will I do? And or some people just, there's no limit, and or most people, you got to find what your limit is, but that is their journey, their path to their own moral compass. But some people's a long ways out, that they don't really care about stuff like that. And that is like a genetic thing too, that is also is like I don't know, draconian thing or reptilian thing. The draconian are all a service to self. And so when people only think about themselves or very ego, don't love's a bother, everything is just about me, 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 me. That is like when your reptilian self is out of balance or something. That's something like you can notice because anything, like you can improve it just because you have those mannerisms or tactics or whatever. But I don't know. This is so complex. All the different things that are happening for all the different people. So it's just is so vast of all the different reasons why things happen and how they're happening and everything. And so it's way too much to even try and figure out, because there's a reason for everything. And it's always it can seem like, what good thing could come from this, but there's always a good thing that comes from everything. Even when you're going through the stuff and you don't see it, there's good things that come from it. And that's up to your priorities as well. Like maybe the good thing is people coming together and meeting each other and being there for one another. Maybe that isn't a value to you. Maybe that isn't important. So that to you wouldn't, well, I'd still, we shouldn't have giant tornadoes just so people will come and meet each other. Like it all depends on, each person's attitude. It's to me, it's like why you think you're here and stuff like that. But, if we started out from the beginning of telling them, and if people weren't in toxic relationships and people were waiting to have kids until they were ready, not just like, so many people just life was just happening to them instead of them making plans for themselves and knowing, having a plan, knowing what they want to do, knowing where they're going. And it just is, instead of just waiting to see what car pulls up, it's, calling for your ride and picking which one you want, going down to the car rental place and saying that one over there instead of just, whatever happens, happens. So that is a complete mindset. And that is a value system of self, I think, like where you have to see that you have value, that you can go and make choices for yourself, and what was that? I just saw this guy, and he was an ex-drug addict, and he was saying about the what was it? It just was going right with what I said about there's going to be so many of these people who are going to just step up into positions of like peers and stuff because so many people don't realize that they're addicted. They're addicted to distraction. They're addicted to something so that they don't feel, so that they don't have to think, so that, and I swear to God, I can't even. This one lady, she said she just saw this footage this morning. This was this morning. And she was really concerned because China is telling their people to get a year's worth of supplies. Everything you're going to need for a year. You need to get it now. And Russia is telling their people the same thing, only the Russian one is also telling them they need to prepare a bunker. And so this person was like, I'm super concerned, if they're saying that, it sounds like they're really going to do like the nuke thing. And then if they do that, I'm not prepared at all. I don't have anything prepared. And then I go in the comments, all these people, I'm not prepared, I'm not prepared, I'm not prepared. So I said, man, it's going to be so chaotic. And this was like somebody you would think you'd see at a PTA meeting. Like, you definitely see her out at a luncheon or something. And so these people, they're going to go into full-on panic when something goes down. Because just because it didn't go this weekend, I don't know, I don't know if the alarm sounded in England. I haven't heard anything. I don't know if any of that stuff happened. I never got any alarm. I'd heard, that they were getting alarms in Florida last week. I've heard of other places, but I haven't gotten any alarms. And I haven't gotten Today there's a big geo storm happening, and so people are saying be prepared that this is going to be the people who are watching the sun stuff, and they seem like it's a lot of people who are into astrology and the Schumann resonance and stuff, that they watch all of the sun flares and stuff. Then you also have the people who are in the magnetosphere stuff that are watching about the pole shift. So you have these different groups you can go in and see, get the different information and put together, how you're feeling or whatever. But they're saying that today is going to be a lot of storms, and there could be things going out. It can even cause runny noses, because it was so funny because this morning I was like, oh my gosh, my nose is so dry. I don't even feel like there's bugs crawling in I feel so dried out. It must be that black seed oil, so I'll have to talk about it. And then I drank my tea, and then I got all stuffed up. She also went out and came back in. And it's raining, of course, and I got all stopped up again. And my nose started running. And then I had seen this one person talking about this geo-electro storm thing. I think I saw a couple people saying that, but they said this one person was saying about symptoms, because they were trying to say make sure to pay attention, because there's a bad sickness going around. And so don't just automatically think it's the symptoms from ascension, because they're similar. And so there's people out there saying stuff like that, but they were saying that the geomagnetic thing can cause a runny nose. So I don't know. There's all this stuff that the people with the frequency and vibration and stuff are always saying, and then you got to think too that you're not in the exact same as any of them. So just because they're going through certain things doesn't mean that necessarily you will. Or if you're not, that doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. Like, it's very versatile. I think it has so much to do with, what you're carrying inside, how much weight you're carrying. And that isn't by like pounds. I'm talking about energetic weight, energetic trauma, how much is holding you back and keeping your vibration low by holding on to pain, holding on to anger, holding on to resentment, holding on to, the victimization of you. And you gotta remember, like, when those faces are looking at you in the very beginning, they are amazed and in love. And then it's just that once you start going and being you, that it triggers them, and they don't know what to do with that. They don't realize you're here to help them grow. And so that you're going to trigger them, and so then they're going to trigger. So, and then we have these past life things that even complicate it more. I was thinking, how many people go and do like this weird, like incestual things to family members or something, because of a soul connection, that they think that they're connected. I mean, because we are all connected, but we have certain like rules or something. Like, there's rules to the game, but any rules you break is for you to see, and you may not see until you pass over and you do your life review. And so, it's also distinct and individual, each person's thing. But I was thinking, I wonder, because there's so many weird stories. And I know in reincarnation how you just are constantly mixing it up all the time. And I know a part of, becoming your best self is being aware of those things, being in control of your impulses, because it's important. You can't just follow your impulses. You have to stop and question, especially when you're being fed stuff from other beings around you. And, it's coming from here, and then, you are reacting to it. And then it is, you're not really thinking about it. You think it's your thought that just told you to do something. And so you're doing something without even considering, very many things. And so, but there's so much, then that's just this reactive, and what develops in families. Like, I see these people breaking down all fucking day on TikTok. It's like, I'm going to have to just stop going on it. It's like, it's just breakdown after breakdown, or tarot person after tarot person telling me, oh, this is going to happen within 12 hours. I was like, please stop saying that. You're not making me feel, time it doesn't work like that. Everything has to fall in place the way it has to fall in place. You don't have control. And I just saw this other, I don't know, spiritual guy, like a guru kind of looking guy. And he was saying something about life. This is one of the things, see, I want to talk about more in depth when I get through to the other side. When whatever happens, then, I will be able to say things a lot more clear. But as far as I'm concerned, the timeline thing isn't just like, even yesterday when I was watching some of this stuff, because there's all these people pushing this, and I was sitting there thinking, if I was just sitting here and I was just like, yeah, I just want to go on to that other timeline. I just want to get to that other part, that part of myself that's way up there. And then all of a sudden I was like, why would I want to do that and skip everything in between? Skip my time with Stella. Like, I don't know when that's going to end. Right now, it seems like she's doing good, and I'm doing everything I can with the natural stuff. But, I still don't know what she has her own checkout time. And she didn't come and tell me when it was. It has to always have that little bit of surprise. So you have the impact so that you can heal whatever it is that you need to heal that becomes between you and this person. Which there's a whole thing too of I think an Indian thing about you have a spirit animal that is also your soul. I don't know. Maybe she is a part of my soul. Maybe that is why I'm so close to her and have this ESP with her. We share soul. I don't fucking know. But anyways, this guy was saying, and I hear all these other people, trying to explain to you how to put yourself on your best timeline, how to, just use your mind to put yourself where you want to be or something. And to me, like I've said, I see everything as destiny. That is what has been shown to me. Like, I understood destiny and fate a long time ago. I understood the concepts, but not to the degree of when my stuff started. And it's been a part of what they have been like showing me and stuff is like in my own personal thing. Because in my own personal thing, like, I could just lose my mind and be just like, go completely with impulses. And I would put myself on a timeline of looking like a crazy person. And I swear to God, I see people doing that. And so you put yourself on that timeline. So that's what you're going to play out. That's the experience that you're going to have, is that. So, or you put yourself on one of trusting the universe and just allowing things to unfold in your life, and then you are on your highest timeline. And so, but it's when you are trusting, because you have healed and stuff. So it isn't just like throwing your hands up like, oh, life sucks, anything can happen on my life, so it's not just like, fuck it, just whatever. It's not like that. It's like a trust. It's like a harmony that you build as you heal and you trust. And I'm telling you, they talk all the fucking time. They would tell me things and stuff, and that things are destined. Everything is like what I had explained before. It's like when you go onto the ride, you go on to the ride. It's not like you go on to a roller coaster and then you're like, well, I think I'm going to switch over to that one real quick or something. You're on the ride. You got to finish the ride. It's got to be completed. You come out of the birth canal. The faces are there. Your hand is dealt. You go and begin your journey. You have obstacles. There's people that come across your path that can either help you or hinder you. And you learn through your journey to get to this place of understanding yourself. And so that is the I think it's even called the hero's journey. I think it's part of like the Jesus story. It's the story of man or something. I think it has to do with this age of the what we were learning. Like, I think it's gonna be different stories for the age of Aquarius. But here, like how I've said, when I watch, like, especially Lifetime movies or any of so many movies, it's like these are our stories. There are stories they're capturing and telling, and oftentimes using them to create judgment on other people. They spin the stories instead of spinning it so you can see where people do well or something good. They're spinning it so we're judging different people, and they do the whole thing about they want us to be divided and like to think that people in Minnesota are doofuses, and to think that people in the South are all racist and stuff. They do all this stuff on TV to generalize so that we just lump everybody together, and it just is like a natural categorizing. And the more you stay limited, if you don't go out and travel and meet people, then that can be your only reference, is what you get off TV. So you're very biased thinking, because you think in such general terms. You don't think on individual terms, where you go out, you meet people, and you see everybody's like, you can be in the South and they could be very liberal. It doesn't have anything to do with it's individuals. It's individuals born into individual experiences, individual families, and it's all, but there's patterns, there's templates. But so you go into your birth experience, you come in to play this game. And I think it has so much to do with, can you find the light when it's so dark? I swear to God, I think there's something about that. But when you are going through this stuff, it is the events are destined, because they're all contracted. Like, they can't just pull people out of the air to come in for your experience. This stuff is all, like I said, it's like it's written. And then we're just it's like the book is written, and we're just the acting it out. And that's why I say, like, once you're in that story, you can't change that story. That's the part you were going to play in that story. So, and I don't understand, I mean, with, like, I know that you can go into different places. Like, I know you can be in two places at once. And, you can, go put your consciousness wherever you want to put it. I mean, they're trying to fucking manage it. I mean, they want people to now put when someone's dying, they want you to keep their consciousness. And I know that's what's going on in fucking Canada. And the mental health their stuff is like prime ministers and stuff. So the minister over health there is speaking out now because of the maid thing. They are just in fucking action. And they're vets, depressed kids. It's like they don't want to be bothered. They don't want any of the homeless, mentally ill, and they're a burden to this society. This global warming reduced society where only the hardest working ones are allowed to be there. The ones who are the most docile, the ones who are the most easily told what to do, just passive, submissive. That's what they're looking for. And they're doing this stuff through chemicals and stuff. Like, they're doing chemical castration through some of the medicine, or through some of the food and stuff. So they're doing things like giving women's hormones to men. They're just doing all sorts of stuff. Like, I mean, it's a definite science experiment. And what was it? I have so many things coming to my mind, because it's all of these things, to me, it's all coming as to what I had said, like all the way when I started, all the way. Like I think it was in the first week that I was talking about the trans agenda in the war on consciousness, and the what they're trying to do to trap consciousness, and that is their whole entire thing. It with this trying to get everybody to go trans, is the whole thing is just to get you stuck on pills, medicines, surgery. It's just being stuck in an artificial world instead of just being natural, and learning how to love yourself. It is still just fight against yourself the whole time, and the whole mission statement or whatever, God makes mistakes, and God's not so sweet after all, and all that stuff they say is, and it isn't like, there's a God that's up there that's getting mad or something. It is it's an energy. It's a universal energy. So it's like all the beings make that energy. So all the beings that believe in positive and light and let a soul go out and live and be a soul, all those beings are what creates that energy. And that energy is sweeping in right now. So that energy is overtaking the dark energy that is that draconian, only out for itself. And so it's being exposed here. So it's being like I'm hearing that there's like some battles going in the sky, and then all of a sudden we're gonna start seeing this battle. I've heard some of the battles and stuff. Like I know that the stuff is really fighting, and you know what I was also thinking is, when they say like hover cars and stuff, but really I think we're gonna be going into like mini spaceships. I think our cars are gonna be like little mini spaceships. So it's because I was thinking about like the technology and stuff that they're going to be releasing, because when this stuff goes down, which I don't know, like I said, I mean this geomagnetic storm thing that brings all this energy, that creates all of this tension, that is flipping everything, so people flip to the other side. People are looking at things differently, so they're flipping their perspective. And so many people are flipping that it turns things the other direction. And so, but it's all a part of this connection with the planet. It's like it's all micro macro. It's all goes together. And so if if that creates the solar flash, that the big thing that is going to be, and the spaceships come in and take. See, I don't know. I swear to God, I really feel like that something has to happen before that happens, because of once that goes, it's supposed to be that they're going to come in and they're going to help us with the technology and rebuilding, and help us to understand our history, what we're really doing here. So, they're going to be a big part of us, our disclosure of understanding about ourselves, and they're going to help us with the whole technology behind rebuilding and starting over. And so it just is like we're not ready for that part yet. Like there's so many people who still have to wait. There's like, we still have this part, to me, this seems like we have to do like this big weeding out, kind of like let go of a lot of energy that is really toxic. And really, it's the energy that doesn't see themselves as equal, like that all souls are equal. They see themselves as more of the avatar and being better than other people. And so it's more that energy would be the people who, to me, is going to be, that won't be here. And so it seems like to me that something happens, and there's a lot of people that leave at once, and then it causes, there's going to be like all this confusion and crisis, and people freaking out, and that energy is what is going to get the big solar flash. And so when that goes in, that's when they're going to come in, because I don't think they're going to be here. I mean, the chaos has to happen. That is like it's written. The cities have to burn down. The fighting is going to happen. You see what is already happening with people. I mean, the stitches and stuff, they just get more and more mean and rude and just senseless. Like, why are you going to go in and attack somebody else for their opinions just nonstop? And I saw somebody, even right after yesterday, after I said about that girl who was saying, she's an Anunnaki princess, and she's kind of doing some videos that are a little. Right after I went on TikTok, there was somebody who had a double stitch on that one. Or no, it was a double duet. So they had her losing her mind, saying something that sounded real crazy. And then somebody on that duet, and then another person on another duetting and responding. It was like, and I just saw a video of her talking, and she said that she had known, she was doing a video about star seeds, and all the star seeds are all talking, and they're talking about things. There's so many star seeds that haven't even started their healing. So they just woke up, and then they think like, well, I meditate, I'm vegan, and so I'm the perfect spiritual leader. It's like, that's not what's important. But anyways, she was just doing a video talking about that, and then she started talking about, I always knew I was going to be persecuted, because yesterday morning, all of a sudden, I saw her being persecuted, and then I went on to that one, and I saw that one. I was like, it's the energy that she's putting out. It's so aggressive and so like arrogant and stuff. It's just like people just think that they're so healed, and they don't realize, like, if you feel like aggressive and stuff towards people, it is especially towards individuals, like, going in and responding. Like, if I'm going to say something that I have a lot of passion about, somebody says something to me, I'm not going to just go in directly and assault them with my words and then draw all the other people who are, out for blood onto their account. I'll just go on and do a general thing and say, like, how I look at it. I'm not going to go on and, try and get everybody to jump on them. And but there's so much of that. But I just think that there's going to be more and more, like, it's totally whatever your energy is. And like, I still don't know. I'm still waiting. I've put a lot of energy out over this, and I haven't got. It's not like y'all not saying like, oh no, you've helped me. It's not that. That's not what I'm talking about. Like, I appreciate you guys always, anytime that you say anything I've said that helps, because I mean, ugh. And it's so funny, when I very first started too, I said, even if it's just to 10 people that I'm talking, look at this. But because, that is what, I did want to get it out over the airwaves. And it is, though, hard to watch other people say something you've been saying for years. And it's like, oh, they're the genius who just created this thought. But, the other thing too is the feeling, wait a second, I just went completely blank. Just the thing that I think that gets to me about it is the censorship. That to be so, kept in the dark. But they've told me so many times that there's a reason, and they've done it because if I would have been out there saying so much of the stuff I'm saying, I would have just been so attacked all the time that I would just beat me down, beat me down, beat me down. And so I needed to be kind of in the dark until it was like, until they're ready to hear what I have to say, until they're ready to hear it. And so many people, they don't want to think of life on these higher terms or something. They want to be small. They want a God up in the sky who's mad at them. They want, there's a certain, you got to just break free from that, these mindsets, these traps that keep you limited. And anyways, I know that that's what I'm supposed to be doing now, is doing that. And so, I know they, especially for all any of y'all who have stayed watching me and stuff like that, I know y'all have to be getting something out of it, or you would not be coming. But I still is like, it's a lot of energy that I've been putting out into a certain thing, and it hasn't come back yet. And so I'm seeing people's energy come back, like Dylan's, like in his seems to just be coming in waves. Like, and I don't even know if it even seems to, like, he just goes and puts on his makeup face and goes out there and acts all prissy, like no big deal. He's probably hurting on the inside, but I swear to God, I think these guys that are out there acting like little girls and over the top is there's some kind of monarch butterfly MK Ultra sex kitten shit, something. Like, it's weird, especially when you have those big mama bear ones that are the whole thing is just, it's all part of agenda. And now, or some of these people are feeling so trapped in it. I mean, there is fucking trans men. So they were women, but now they're men. You would never ever think that they were a woman. I am telling you. And if they came walking in the bathroom because they have a vagina, or they were born biologically a woman, which now that's what their whole thing is people would freak out. Like, this has just gotten so out of hand. It's gotten so out of control. Like, this is ridiculous. I swear to God, we got to go to private bathrooms. And I said that, and somebody said, oh, well, it just makes a long line for the girls and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, there's been plenty of fucking, whatever, their events that have porta potties. Porta potties seem to work. Individual toileting seems like I'd rather use a toilet outside in an individual porta potty than go in and use these mass bathrooms. Like, I think it's weird. I don't even like to go in the gas station, but like when I'm traveling and stuff, I don't even like to go in the gas station ones where there's 2 or 3 stalls. Even in a fucking restaurant where there's 2 or 3 stalls, I think it's rude. I just think it's rude. It's like treating us like fucking cattle. And so I think that is a part of why this conversation is like, what is your standards? I think that we have to have so many of these conversations. We have to really look at things. And yeah, a lot of this stuff is going to come up in a lot of ways that were unexpected. And a lot of people are going to feel like all lights are on them and everybody's judging them and stuff. But those are the things that you have to learn to get over, because the whole thing is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter who's judging you anywhere. You have to still stand strong. It doesn't make a shit what they think of you. It only matters what you think of you. And if you're too caught up in what they think of you, it just seeps over into how you feel about yourself. And however they look at you is all dependent on their own wounds. Like, they could look at you as being, a certain way just because of something that happened to them. And it is all based on that. Like, there's way too many stories to try and start coming up with them. It's endless. But there's no reason to sit there and think, to look at yourself through someone else's eyes like that. But that is what starts from the beginning. And then it is going into relationship after relationship, friend group, everything. And I think that the more, I'm feeling really weird all of a sudden. I feel weird. Now Stella's turning and looking like, I don't know, man. Sometimes I wonder, like, it's almost like that they fucking suck the air out of the world. I feel weird. Fuck. God, I wish this would hurry up and get over with. Even when like, that you're eternal and that this isn't the end. It is still like, man, just yesterday seeing this guy, I think it was Popular Mechanics magazine, was doing an article, something about, I think, business and COVID or something like that. He sent in and asked for a bunch of paperwork to be sent for their article. And then they sent it back, but they sent back, some secret stuff, because this stuff is going to keep happening and happening. But they sent back some secret stuff. And it was all about how they can control your mind from outside of your house. They're using the towers for that, that they can make you all of a sudden have to itch. They can make you hear voices and all the stuff. And they sent him all these papers. And he was like super confused, like, what the hell is all this? But it tells what exactly it is. It's like, these people have total control over our fucking, and that just creeps me the fuck out. Like, I don't, I'm so freaking ready for shit to start going down, I swear. But there's no control. And how many times, like, everybody has been on the same page. We've all wanted a certain thing to happen on the same day. And we cannot make it just happen. It isn't like that. It's more like when we were souls outside of the experience, we wanted a thing to happen. So we made that happen. And so then we wanted to see, what does that look like when that happens? So we project into this stage, into this experience, so we can watch it and we can see, so we can witness ourselves, so we can see, like, how many times are you going to try and understand yourself through somebody else? Because the place you're going to find the most love and the most understanding to you is through you. Once you have that of yourself, you're putting that out there. You're not putting it on somebody else. So people don't feel a threat. They don't feel burdened by you. So automatically you get more love back because you're not needing anything from them. And so that draws more people to you, because it's like, oh man, it's a breath of fresh air. And, because so many people, you go around and there's all this development of toxic relationships, and people want something from somebody, and they feel it, and they're so developed that they know it right away and they react to it. And so there's just this, chaos and fighting that is unnecessary. Is once you get to the point of loving yourself, that person could do that same thing and you just be like, well. But it is at work, it takes time. Like, and you have certain people that trigger you the deepest, and they still can. Like, yesterday I put onto the group thing, the group message thing about the borax or whatever. So I'm not putting them things about what's going on in the world. I have sent some of those to my other a couple of daughters, but the one who gets all mad about stuff, then I haven't. But I had put stuff about healthy, like these different, like black seed oil and stuff, and she was just saying that she wanted to be healthy. And so I was wanting to be more holistic and stuff like that. And then she had shared some, just gossip. So like, there's so much going on with this Love is Blind, and now they started a petition to get rid of Nick Lachey and Vanessa, whatever her name is. And I feel bad. I don't think Nick Lachey would give a shit. He seemed like, but she, like, when you watch the thing, she's like, spends all her time on social media and seeing what people say about her. Like, she's very vested. So I'm sure she's having a real bad day to have all these people out there wanting to do a whole fucking petition against her. Man, it made me feel bad for her. But, that's the stuff. That's the energy you're putting out. She's putting out this fake energy, and that energy is going to come up and hit her so that she has to heal it. And, it's going to feel horrible as it's happening. But you have to go through the process so that you can heal it and start seeing, like, I don't need to be worrying about what these people think. These are strangers, and they have expectations. They have what and then so many people are so caught up in themselves. They're so up their own asses right now that, yeah, what they want, what they need matters more than anything else in the whole entire world. So, that's an energy we have to purge out. Like, so all this stuff has to just be released. But anyways, all I can say is that everything is destined, and everything has a time and a place, and everything is going to happen the way it's going to happen. You can't just all of a sudden, close your eyes and magically put yourself on another timeline. You're still going to wake up into the experience you were birthed into, and you are on a set trajectory. But that doesn't mean that you can't turn your life into loving yourself, because then once you do that, it was always going to happen. And then you are on a timeline where you're not going through trauma and pain and suffering like you were. Or when it does happen, it doesn't affect you the same. And so the healing part, it puts you into a different way of being, but it isn't like takes you out of what you were birthed into. Like, the way out of being birthed into it is to die out of it. You have to, the same as you come into it, you have to go out of it. And so, and don't get frustrated when you're out there hearing these people. Like, you're doing something wrong if you're not just on your best timeline. The way to get on your best timeline is to just confront as issues come up in your life, to look at them and see, like Vanessa, she's not going to be looking at it as like, I was putting out too much in the world, that I cared too much about what people think, and now I'm going to be hit hard with this so that I have to heal it. Like, she's not going to be seeing that. And that's what I'm saying. You got to go deeper into things and start understanding them more, so you can see, because it is all to benefit you in the end. It isn't, like, she would be way better off not giving a shit what all these people think about her. And so, yeah, it's going to fucking hurt. And so, those are the things that you go through, and as they're happening, you heal them. And that's your journey to your best timeline. You're doing it. You're already doing it. As long as you are working on you, you're working on your best timeline. So all of this stuff where these people keep saying that, and even when they look like, this person knows what they're talking about, I listen to, what's inside of you. And I know a lot of people's experience hasn't had much spiritual thought in it yet, or much spiritual experience. I can just say, you got to just use your discernment, and, what feels right. Don't just think because somebody looks a certain way that what they're saying is automatically right. And they also, you got to understand that it's by their understanding or their perspective, and they could be hearing and understanding things different, and their vibration can be different. So they can be hearing something that sounds like weird to you, but it completely makes sense to them because it's their understanding. And so, you don't have to try and change somebody else's understanding and go in and tell them they're wrong and they shouldn't be doing this or saying this. That is their understanding. It's their perspective. It's their perception. And, and it, I know I say things that a lot of people would be like, completely hear something completely different than what I'm saying. It happens all the time with my one daughter. And even when I put that little borax TikTok on there, she just comes back, Mom, like I'm just burdening them. And my one daughter, I had sent her something, and she had said, because my one daughter, because I thought, my daughter is showing that she, when I go in and say stuff in this group thing, and she's always has these snappy things, like she's showing something that I have said for a long time and nobody could see it. That, but things reveal themselves. But so then, my other daughter comes in and does a private message and asks me if I started using that, and I said yeah, and I told her more about it and stuff. And And I said, I'd be a real weird mom if I wasn't concerned about, and I think I was talking about her trip, because there's people trapped in Canada. So Canadians, I just saw, this was today, that family was driving and trying to drive across the border, and they had a vacation planned in Tennessee, and they were trying to cross the border, and they wouldn't let them. They even searched their car and stuff, because if you don't have these, they won't let you cross the border. In Canada to here, you can cross it from Mexico to here, that doesn't matter, but up here. So these people had paid for their vacation and everything and got turned away at the border. Not just turned away, they had to be searched and all sorts of stuff, and then had a paper stamped and sent, oh, sorry, go home. And there is three people, I think there's 3 Americans they're holding captive. I swear to God, I don't know if it's Vancouver. There's a few different places where there's people trapped. There's a place where the government is just leaving them trapped and the people don't know what to do. There's other places where they're going in and trying to get people out, and so that's why I'm telling my daughter, I don't want you, just, this is why I'm saying, this is dangerous, what's going on. We're in the middle of this huge world war situation, and just go out and travel. And also, the people who are talking about the magnetosphere and the solar flares and stuff like that say, do not be flying, that is going to be issues up there. So, and it still has that footage that all of a sudden all the planes are going to fall out of the sky when this goes down. And I don't know if it is going to be, I don't know how it's all going to go down, and I don't know if it really will be the planes falling out of the sky, but it seems like it's going to be to me. It's in way too many movies. So, yeah, the flying thing freaks me out. But there's something else I wanted to finish and say real quick, was, because I had told her, I said, well, I'd be a real weird mom if I just didn't care, if I knew this stuff and didn't care. Like my one daughter, her fella has got diabetes, and the black seed oil, the borax, all these things can fix this stuff without having to go and start on the drugs. I just saw a girl, and she was like, she's been on her attention deficit medicine for a few years. She has to keep going to the doctor because it's not working. And so she expected it to be speed. So I guess the attention deficit medicine is supposed to be an amphetamine that makes have the opposite, so it slows you down rather than speed you up if you've got this certain attention deficit thing, because I have it, and they gave me that, and it was horrible. I couldn't handle it. I took it for a couple days. I'm like, hell no. It made me feel way speedier. It made me not be able to slow down my thoughts at all. So, it's all dependent on your own structure. We're all very independent. That's why these drugs don't just 100% work on everybody. But she was saying that she decided that she was going to do a test, because people are saying that there's no drugs in them. And so she did a test, and that she has no amphetamines in her system. And so now she said that she's very upset, and she's going to get a lawyer because this is bullshit. She's sitting here going in and taking all these drugs and buying these drugs, and they're not helping. They're not doing anything. They don't even have drugs in them. And what are they getting? I'm like, are they giving her sugar pills? Like, she's not happy. But this is, that's the stuff that has to go down as people, start realizing what Western medicine is. And I see so many people, who are realizing, who are seeing. So, everything is going, we just have this, big thing that's going to happen. There's going to be some really big stuff that's going to happen, and there's just no way to know how or when or anything. And, who knows if it's going to be the first thing is going to be the big thing. I think it's going to be some big things, like some dramatic things and stuff. But the really big thing, I think, is a little further ahead. Like, maybe we'll start having more and more solar flashes all the time. And I don't know. I think it seems because there's so much stuff like that Marjorie Taylor Greene lady. She has she's all involved in some huge investigation, I guess, on the Joe and them. And so it's coming out that they are the biggest crime syndicated family that's ever been in that house, which he never even made it into because he's, not even the real one. But I knew, I knew there was a reason why it was that he was the one chose, and I knew why they were making him into such a doofus. Because I'm sure the original Joe, he's nothing like this, bumbling fool. I'm sure he wasn't demented or any of that stuff. Well, I mean, he was demented, but not dementia. But he was definitely demented. But yeah, I think he was like the godfather or something. I think he was really horrendous. And his whole family's involved. So there's so much stuff. Like, so to me, and with like what's going on, because to me, with the China and the Russian thing, like, I don't think that we need to all be prepared for a year. Like, they are already started on the gold standard. So they're already starting to put money into their places, into their communities. And I don't know if Russia is so much because they're still having there's some of these people are playing such big roles in this awakening thing, the China, Africa, so like all of these things. So some of this stuff I think is just to get to like that lady talking like, look, they're saying we got to be ready for a year. I'm not even ready for a weekend. And so, but I think it is more to get people to really prepare, because that is going to take away the chaos. The more people who are prepared, is no matter what, it's going to be, a period of time, whether it's, a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, there's going to be a period of time where there's not going to be power or something, or internet. Like, we're going to be kind of cut off. And so, and I don't know, I don't know. To me, there's going to be some storms. It seems like to me that Hawaii moment is going to be a big thing. Like, the Hawaii moment will really, if alarms start going off, and especially if they do some of those EMP things in some places. But if those alarms start going off and people think they're about to, die in 20 minutes, then it's going to be total chaos. And then once the power goes out and people don't know where it's gone off, if it's gone off, and they're not going to give a fuck. They're not going to give a fuck. And, and they'll still be out there looting and stuff. Like, people are just, not thinking straight. And so, anyways, you got to stay safe and you got to be prepared. But I don't think it's going to be like a year. I think it's going to be, right away. They're already going to be putting up the cities with the Tesla power once, because we got to have this toxic energy go off so we can get the other one. So we got to have their internet go off so we can get the quantum one. Like, we need all of that stuff to end so we can get the next thing. But I don't think it's going to be like a year down the road. No, I think it's going to be like a week or 2 weeks or something of just chaos, and then things will start happening somehow. I'm not sure if they'll just switch it over to quantum and they'll come on the TV and start telling people, calm down, relax, we're going to tell you what's going on, or what. But the financial thing, how they've drugged this out, it's hard to imagine that that's going to be it. But, as soon as that crashes all the way, and you can't go buy gas, you can't buy food, you can't buy anything. There's going to be no way to make any kind of movement. So that is a part of the whole crash. So anyways, we got those things that will go on. I don't think it's going to be all that, and the solar flash, and the tsunami, and I think there's going to be a lot of different events. But the event for the big great awakening, for things to turn the other direction, I still think that we're in that time period where things are going to be turning the other direction. I don't know how much longer it's going to take. Like, fuck. I just can't. But it is happening. It just is like slower than what I thought. I thought it would be a lot more faster and dramatic, but I still think there's something dramatic that is coming. So I don't know. We'll see. So, anyways, I've been talking a long time, and I swear to God, I could just keep talking and talking. There's so many things, but just, stay working on you. That's the thing, is to just stay working on you. Is what everything is about. I mean, you're birthed here so that you can try and understand who you are. So that's what I would focus on. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.